TenZ, Marved, FNS, what do all three have in common? Well, they're all Canadian, and for the first time ever, the VCT is coming to Canada, and not just that, it's right here in our own backyard in Toronto. It's an exciting time for Canadian Valorant fans, but one of the biggest questions heading into the event is whether or not G2 can get revenge for their heartbreak back in Bangkok. Here's everything you need to know. Alright, so G2 have arguably been the best team in the world throughout all of 2025. But unfortunately, they kinda choked when it mattered most in the grand finals of Masters Bangkok. Yeah, T1 pulled off an incredible comeback, but the series was always G2's to lose, so now everyone is wondering whether or not they have what it takes to bounce back from that tragic loss, and if you ask me, I think they do. Despite Valen's age, his maturity as the leader of this team gives me belief that they can go all the way this time. For those of you who maybe missed it, here's what he had to say after that tough loss to T1.
Life of a competitor is the hardest thing ever, man. Like, you go through the lowest lows, and you also reach the highest highs with the team you have. And there's no life without losses in everything you do. So, you know, I told them, like, what's a life of only winning? We never wanted that. And so silver lining, I think, you know, there's still more tournaments. We got experience here, and this will only motivate us to get better. I wish I could, like, show them how much they mean to me, my team, because I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, all the hard shit we've been through, man. Like, you guys are so good at this game. You guys, like, make life every day so fun. It's all right we lost. Like, I'm already coming to terms with it because it, bro. We're gonna win the next one 100%.
Now, throughout Stage 1, G2 didn't look nearly as dominant as they did earlier in the year, with multiple teams pushing them to the brink. They were nearly eliminated from Masters Toronto contention by 100 Thieves and Evil Geniuses, but they've shown a resilience and grit that they've lacked in the past, and that's what's ultimately earned them yet another domestic title, along with the #1 seed for their region heading into the event. This means that there will be a Canadian playing at Masters Toronto after all. I'm sure Professor P will get a warm welcome from the home fans. Trent has also arguably been the best player in the world this year, but many people seem to think that it's mostly because Taeho was completely busted since his release. I think a lot of people seem to forget that when the guard first broke onto the VCT scene in early 2022, Trent made a name for himself as a Sova god. But he will want to prove to his doubters that he's more than just a Taeho merchant, and because G2 are directly seeded into playoffs, they have the benefit of just sitting back and watching other teams shape the meta for them. Now, despite their somewhat shaky run to get here, G2 are easily among the favourites to win this event. But the team that they beat to earn that #1 spot, Sentinels, have also had quite an interesting year. Masters Bangkok was a complete disaster for Sentinels. It was arguably one of their worst ever showings on the international stage, filled with rounds that would make any Sen fan want to pull their hair out.
Made it
Hold the plants! Hold the What the What? Bro!
But despite that shocking display earlier in the year, Sentinels have worked out their problems and proven that they're still a top team, besting G2 and MIBR in playoffs to earn the first spot in Toronto before losing the rematch against G2 in the finals. Zekken and Bang continue to lead the charge, but the entire team has really stepped up throughout Stage 1, and this is a team that definitely has the potential to go all the way in Toronto. The third and final team from Americas is, of course, Aspas and MIBR. After narrowly missing out on Masters Bangkok, this team leveled up after signing Verno from NRG. Despite causing the entire team to switch from Portuguese to English comms, MIBR thrived throughout Stage 1.
Aspas and TenZ here now have to go for it. Aspas, just a wayward bullet would take the man down. 7 bullets left. 7 kills for Aspas in the game. What a point of the takedown!
Oh, the extra!
Aspas continues to prove why so many people consider him the GOAT. He's taken the last place America's team from 2024 to their first ever international event. Lock-in doesn't count. He has 3 rookies who respect and look up to him, and an IGL Artzine who many people had written off, performing like one of the best teams in the world. Over in Pacific, there was a bit of a surprise, however, with RRQ taking down Gen.G in the grand finals to win their first domestic title and the #1 seed for Masters Toronto. RRQ have always been a bit of a dark horse in Pacific, but adding Warbirds, Crazy Guy, and Cushy to the team has allowed them to break into the upper echelon of VCT Pacific. Their duelists, Jemkin, season borderline carried them to their title with some absurd individual stats that include a disgusting 0.24 first kills per round. If there's one RRQ player to watch out for, I think it's him.
Spike not yet needing to be established. Spike dropped on the floor. PaperX looking to flood towards the side. The shots from Gen.G though, superb.
Taps forward again and again, and he knows that Jing is pinned down. A possible ace in her hands. He has to work around the pillars. Spots him out, and that's gonna be the ace! Gen.G!
Now, despite losing to RRQ in the grand finals of Pacific, I still think that Gen.G are capable of going on a run at this tournament. They've had a bit of a shaky year after losing Lockyer and Meteor, but Ash and Foxy9 stepped up in playoffs to get them to Masters Toronto. With their 2024 core of Texture, Caron, and Munchkin, I genuinely think that a lot of people might be sleepy on Gen.G. This core won Masters Shanghai last year, and I think that experience could take them a long way. Lastly now, we have one of everyone's favourite teams, PaperX. After a disappointing 2024 and a frankly horrible start to 2025, PRX made the shocking decision to bench Mindfreak in favour of Patmen. I know this change hurt a lot of PRX fans, but I think it actually worked. It was the spark that turned their season around, allowing them to eliminate T1, Boom, and DRX track by track to earn the final spot in Toronto. Now, of course, PaperX still look shaky at times, but they've been on an upwards trajectory since adding Patmen to the roster. 4 out of 5 players on this team have been to an international grand final, so PRX's experience could take them a long way at Masters. Over in Europe, Fnatic won yet another domestic trophy to earn themselves that juicy 1 seed in Toronto. Despite having some pretty slow starts to the season, Crashies is looking like the veteran initiator we all know and love, while Kayak has truly found his footing as the star of this team. This is arguably the first time since Masters Tokyo in 2023 where we can confidently say that Fnatic looks like a team that can actually win international events. And I have to give a lot of credit to Boaster here. While other legendary IGLs like FNS have struggled to call their way back to the top, Boaster has proven that he can adapt and thrive within almost any meta. And he's also fragging while doing it. The aim training has absolutely paid off.
And now 15 seconds, there's not really any time for Boaster to run it back, but he will land the shot anyway! IGL v IGL!
As for EMEA's second seed, Heretics, there isn't really too much to say here. These guys are just serial chokers at this point. They've been to 5 grand finals in the past 14 months, and they've lost all of them. There just has to be some kind of mental block going on here for Heretics, but once they do figure it out, then they might just go on to win everything. Surely they can't choke every time. Lastly, in EMEA, we have Team Liquid, who have been dealt a pretty rough blow in the lead up to the event. Back on May 29th, they announced that, due to visa delays, Nats will likely miss the team's opening match against BLG, with Penny subbing in for him. Now, losing your IGL right before an event is already a pretty tough blow, but Liquid often look to Nats for a lot of their fragging power, so it's hard to see them going far without him. Finally, we have China, where XLG somewhat surprisingly won Stage 1. Unfortunately, that impressive performance by XLG has been overshadowed by the removal of Yu from the team. Yu was suspended without pay by XLG on May 18th for suspected insulting remarks towards China, which he claims came from someone else's Steam account. Yu was a part of the Totoro gaming roster that was banned for 12 months for match fixing back in 2021. But fans have also dug up old Steam accounts of his that have previously been issued VAC bans. Regardless, some people think that his removal from the team is a bit harsh.
Yeah, I don't know. You could have an argument about whether it's fair or not, but I think that, listen, the reality is he's gone and he's probably not coming back because people are very angry.
But aside from that, BLG marked their return to the international stage by eliminating EDG from playoffs before winning a rematch against Wolves in the lower final. Some analysts don't see these Chinese teams as a threat in Toronto, but hopefully they prove us wrong. BLG in particular are no strangers to upsets on the international stage, so you never know. Either way, the excitement continues to build for Masters here in Toronto, and we'll make sure to keep you up to date with all the news throughout the event.